The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf.
Total is debatably the best deepwater operator on the planet. They bring to this huge capabilities in geoscience, technical engineering, as well as one of the largest balance sheets in the industry. And putting that heft behind this project, as you allude to, is a huge step forward.
All right, welcome back inside our Proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Robert Bose. He's the CEO of Sintana Energy. And Robert, it's great to see you again. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Steve. Very well. It's been a busy few quarters. It's been a while since we talked, but it's great to be back. Thank you for
Yeah,
having
good.
me.
Yeah, good to have you back again. I know you had some a news release out about the Challenger deal, and I know you can't talk a lot about it because there's still things that are going on within the court. So I won't ask you too many details about it, but I guess it's good to at least get a bit of an update off at least a news release.
Sure, Steve. As you allude to, we are sort of limited in our ability to talk to that while it sort of goes through the regulatory processes in the United Kingdom, but all proceeds, generally according to plan. We expect to have a court hearing in the morning and kind of wrap up the acquisition and the listing of Sintana, which is as well part of this overall effort before Christmas time. So kind of everything on track, and we're really excited about what this means for Sintana going forward.
Let's talk about Pell 83 because that's obviously a real key part of the company. And I know there's an ownership structure there, and someone has come in on that structure. So maybe just remind everyone a little bit about Pell 83 and the people that involved and who this new player is.
Sure, absolutely. And the news yesterday is something that was been eagerly anticipated and widely speculated about by a very large cross section of participants in the capital markets, including our shareholders. So it's just absolutely great to finally be able to get to that finish line. Your viewers may recall that Pell 83 is located at the very heart of the Orange Basin in Namibia. It is operated by Galp of Portugal. In terms of the ownership structure, Galp has a 80% interest in that asset. Our Namibian affiliate that we own 49% of has a 10% interest in that asset. And then Namcor, the Namibian national oil company, also has a 10% interest in the block. Pell 83 is home to a series of discoveries at Mopane. It's a complex of a whole bunch of stack reservoirs that Galp has been exploring for the joint venture over the past couple of years. Multiple discoveries. I think initially Galp had estimated kind of 10 billion barrels of original oil in place. So certainly, a world scale discovery that's been, in the headlines and at kind of the front of our efforts for some time now. Subsequent to the discoveries, Galp launched a process to invite in a new partner to not only take up the operational oversight of it, but begin to sort of participate in the capital that's required to take this asset forward. Again, your viewers may recall that while Galp owns 80% of this asset, they are bearing 100% of the costs. So that's an increasingly kind of steep burden for such a big discovery and such a significant development. We are, again, by extension, carried all the way to first oil. And so that's kind of where we start.
Yeah.
It was announced yesterday that Total Energies of France will be stepping into this block. They will be taking over operatorship in exchange for a 40% interest in Pell 83. And as I said, Steve, there's been a lot of speculation about this transaction, a lot of
Yeah.
expectations, and I think it's been challenging, to be honest with you, for investors to really try and understand, the boundaries of what was potentially going to happen. In large part, because there's been very little disclosure about the asset and the development and what's happened. And I think the transaction that was announced yesterday was good for Galp. It's great for Pell 83, and frankly for us it's absolutely fantastic.
It really sounds like Total is going to start to really rev things up. I mean, they're looking at drilling in 2026, but they've got to spend a lot of money in order to be a part of this. So this sounds like it's going to start to really get some legs here.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we sort of take a bit of a step back, Steve, I think if we look at it from a Pell 83 level, the addition of of Total's technical and financial resources to this project is a huge expansion of the capabilities behind it. And that is just an absolutely huge home run for Pell 83. Total is debatably the best deepwater operator on the planet. They bring to this huge capabilities in geoscience, technical engineering, as well as one of the largest balance sheets in the industry. And putting that heft behind this project, as you alluded to, is a huge step forward. I think secondly, Total putting their name on this project as operator and committing to pay 75% of the cost to get to first oil, which, as you allude to, may include some further appraisal drilling as soon as next year, in addition to the phase one development. I mean, this total capital envelope could easily exceed $10 or $11 billion. And to have Total step into this project as operator and commit to pay 75% of that, I think really speaks to the quality of the opportunity at Mopane. And again, that has been subject to some, sort of range of views as a result of just the very limited disclosure, in particular from Galp over the past number of quarters around, what's really at Mopane. So again, those are two, I think, really important things that have happened with respect to Pell 83. And I would say in terms of, from our perspective and with respect to our interests, and I'll just kind of say it again, we are carried to first oil. But having Total become part of this project and having their support behind that carry dramatically, I think, enhances the quality of our carry. Certainly significantly decreases the discount rate, which means that the value of our interest, I think, has gone up materially. And then I think lastly, what it really does is make our interest in Pell 83, more marketable. We now know who the operator is going to be. We have some sense for where they're going to take it. We have some sense for who's behind this. And one of the things we've been, I think, pretty consistent about with our shareholders, including in our conversations with you, that our business is to sort of step into things early, watch them blossom, and then sort of pass them on to people who have, the capabilities to stay in these things for the next decade or so. So I think, across the board, certainly, on the asset and interest side, it's been a huge success. And I'm looking forward to seeing, these, hallmarks of this transaction sort of get better digested by the capital markets. But it's a great outcome for the country, for Pell 83 and for us as well.
All right, Robert, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for the update, Robert. Really appreciate it.
Always good to see you, Steve. Thanks so much. It's good to be back.
All right, Robert Bose, the CEO of Sintana Energy.
The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf. It is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, an offer, or a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Viewers should conduct their own research and consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of Proactive Group Holdings, trading as Proactive Investors, or its affiliates. No responsibility is accepted for any loss arising from reliance on the information presented.